thank you so much for coming in. I see your name is Tony. My name is Danny.
Hi.
Hi, How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. So I'm the dietitian that your medical doctor has referred you to. Today is just gonna be kind of a get to know you session. We're gonna assess some of your diet history and kind of get some information for you, so that next time I see you, we can get really deep into the counseling of the issues that are going on here. So I'm just going to be asking you some questions about your height, your weight, your past medical history, any kind of conditions you have going on, and then we're going to do something called a 24-hour recall, where I'm going to ask you to just picture a day and a typical day and tell me everything that you eat, and then we're going to talk about some of your other eating habits. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds
Okay,
pretty
awesome.
easy.
And if at any time you don't want to answer a question, just let me know and then we can move past it. Sound good? Alright, let's get started. So first, can I get your age?
I am 54.
Okay, and male. Are you experiencing any medical problems?
Yes, I've recently been diagnosed with hypertension and hyperlipidemia.
Okay, yeah, and I think that, I believe on your referral, that's the reason that we're here today, is kind of to address that. And are you on any medications?
Yes, I am currently on Lipitor and I can't pronounce Prevenol.
Okay, yeah, there you go. That's good. Okay. Do you have any food allergies or intolerances?
No allergies or intolerances.
Okay. Do you typically experience any GI symptoms, like maybe gas or bloating?
No, not really.
Okay. And then tell me about your family medical history.
Well, it's kind of a rough story. Well, my father actually passed away when he was 57 of a heart attack.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
And my mother currently has high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother also had a stroke when he was 50.
Okay, so it sounds like you have hypertension in the family. That's common. What's your height?
I am 6'11". 5'11".
All right, I was
5'11". I don't know where that comes from. I'm not that tall.
We all wish we were basketball players. And how about your height, to the best of your knowledge?
My height, I'm 5'11".
I mean your weight.
175.
Okay, and have you experienced any weight change like in the past year?
No. Relatively stable.
And do you normally have a normal appetite?
Yeah, I have a pretty, I would say, hearty appetite. I like to eat. I enjoy eating.
All right, cool. And do you take any supplements currently? Vitamin or herbal?
No, I'm currently not on any supplements.
Okay, and tell me about your typical physical activity.
Well, with my wife, we have a vegetable garden, so I'll help work on that with her on the weekends and throughout the week. I go golfing on Saturdays.
Okay.
And then, for fun, I also like to go bowling twice a week. I participate in like a league.
Okay, cool. Good to know. And do you have any nutrition education? Like, did you take a class in college maybe? Or?
No, I don't have any education. My level of knowledge is pretty minimal.
Okay. And then now we're going to get to the 24-hour recall portion, which if you remember, I'm going to ask you to just envision the most typical day in your life currently, and then tell me everything you would eat. So when you wake up, what you eat or drink for breakfast, if there's a snack in between breakfast and lunch, just all of that. And I'm going to be asking you for references as far as size, so just answer to the best of your knowledge, and then let me know if you're confused at any point. Okay. So pretend you've woken up on a typical day. What's the first thing that you eat or drink?
I'll usually have some orange juice.
Okay. And about how much would you say?
I would say like maybe this much.
With a normal width.
Yeah, normal. Nothing too crazy.
Mhm.
Then I'll have like a piece of toast.
Mhm.
And a banana.
Okay. Is the toast whole wheat or white bread or?
I'm not really sure. I would say it's probably white though.
Okay. Yeah, to the best of your knowledge, that's fine. And then what's the next thing that you
do? I'll usually have a cup of coffee on the way to work too.
Okay, and about how large is that cup of coffee?
Probably yay big.
Okay, and you fill it up all the way?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And then what's the next thing that you eat or drink?
Then I don't eat till my break at the courthouse, so I'll have maybe I'll usually stop somewhere. I'll go to like a diner, and I'll usually get like a burger and like a side salad.
Okay, so you would say you eat out for lunch most
Yes.
of the times. Okay. And so on your burger, do you get like the quarter pounder? Do you get the Big Mac as far as size goes? Or is it...
There's 2 patties.
Okay.
2 patties. It's like the deluxe one.
Okay. And then what kind of toppings do you get?
I get cheese on it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get a fried egg.
Okay.
I really like mayonnaise,
Okay.
ketchup, mustard, pickles, lettuce, tomatoes.
Okay.
That's about it.
And then you mentioned that you get a side salad.
Yeah.
If you could make a bowl with your fingers,
How probably big? This big.
Okay. And then what's in the salad?
It's like iceberg lettuce. I think that's what it's called, and just like some tomatoes, maybe like a pepperoni, and
okay.
And then I just put some olive oil and vinegar on it.
Okay, and about how much olive oil and vinegar? Like if you could make a
probably this much.
Like this much in a dish, like
yeah, probably.
Alright, cool. Thank you. And then what's the next?
Then I don't have anything till I get home and I have dinner. And for dinner, we usually start maybe with like an antipasta, and I'll usually have pasta or ravioli, and then maybe my wife, she makes this really good sausage dish. So we'll have maybe some sausage and peppers, or meatballs. It kind of just depends on the day, but it's typically that's the routine.
Okay, so let's just start out with the antipasti. What normally does it consist of, and then about how much of it?
It usually has cheese in it, meats in it, olives, pepperoncinis, tomatoes, lettuce, roasted peppers.
Okay. And do you have like several pieces of meat or several pieces of cheese?
I would say less lettuce, more stuff.
Okay, so stuff being meat, cheese,
yeah.
Okay. And then you said that you have pasta. About how big of a portion size of pasta?
I would say maybe like my hand this big.
Like this big?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you have sauce with that?
Yeah, sauce.
Do you is it a lot of sauce?
I like it saucy, yeah.
Okay. So maybe like half a cup of sauce?
I would say maybe 3/4.
3/4 of a cup of sauce?
Yes.
And then sausage. Indicate on your palm like how much total if you grouped it all together sausage.
Maybe my palm.
Okay, about the size of your palm. All right. And am I missing anything from dinner?
No. Sometimes she makes pizza though. We have like this cool oven. She makes pizza.
Homemade dough and.
Yeah, everything's from scratch.
Okay, nice. And then if you do eat pizza, how many slices do you have?
I'll maybe have like 3.
Okay. And is the other toppings on the pizza?
Yeah, like sausage and cheese.
Okay. And then for the rest of the night, do you have dessert? Do you have a midnight snack?
I'll have maybe like a beer or two. But I don't have a sweet tooth.
Okay. So I'm just gonna ask again. It sounds like your wife does most of the cooking. Would you say that's consistent throughout?
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes on like a weekend, maybe like our family members, the other wives will get together in the kitchen and they'll all help each other. But it's predominantly.
But everything at home is cooked from scratch. Okay. And do you have any idea how much salt is added?
I know. I honestly would have no idea. I wouldn't know.
Okay. All right. And do you have any interest in cooking? Do you have any cooking skills?
Honestly, everything I cook burns. So
wow.
Yeah, I'm not really good at it. I don't know. Maybe maybe I'd be up for it. I don't know. It's kind of my wife's area.
Yeah. And so this is a typical day, like a run-of-the-mill day. Are weekends different from maybe a work day?
No, they're pretty similar.
Okay. Awesome. I'm trying to just look at this to see if I have any further questions. All right. Is there anything else about your diet that maybe I just didn't, a question didn't cover it that you'd like to share with me?
No. So, sometimes I eat lentils. I eat like this lentil and spinach dish.
And you enjoy that? You enjoy
I like it. Yeah,
okay.
I like it. It's good.
Cool. And it sounds like you said your wife cooks with the other wives, and you mentioned you have a big family. So I'm getting that food is pretty important.
Yeah. Every Sunday, everyone comes over. All of our family members come over, and it's a big party, and we always have a good time. And then on the weekdays, I have a big family, like immediate family. So my children are there, and it's a time for us to talk and
so it sounds
socialize.
like a lot is really centered around the dinner table.
Yes, I would say so.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this with me and being so candid. At our follow-up appointment, I'm going to have some resources for you, and we're going to kind of go over the information that you gave me today, and we'll get started from here.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'll have Lisa schedule your appointment.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Tony. It's good to have you back.
Oh, thanks.
How have you been?
I'm well. It's nice to be here again. I'm looking forward to this session. And
okay, cool. Well, last session we just talked about what you normally eat and your medical history and your family history and that type of thing. And now we're kind of going to delve deeper into your diagnosis of hypertension and its relationship with your eating habits. So I'm just going to be asking you some questions, answer as honestly as possible. If I do ask a question that maybe is a little out of line, then just let me know. Okay, so you were diagnosed with hypertension and hyperlipidemia about a month ago. Tell me what you understand about hypertension.
Hypertension, from what the doctors told me, basically it means high blood pressure, and that can be related to like a lot of different variables, but like stress and diet, but mostly diet.
Okay, and how would you define the term high blood pressure?
High blood pressure
as it pertains to like your body.
I like physically my blood pressure readings are high. Maybe you could explain that.
Yeah. So the definition of hypertension, it's also referred to as high blood pressure, is a condition in which the arteries have persistently elevated blood pressure, and blood pressure is the force of blood pushing against your blood vessel walls. So if you have high blood pressure, you have more force and therefore more stress on your arteries all throughout your body. And so that can manifest itself in a lot of different things that can be harmful to the body. Does that affect your understanding of hypertension?
How else? Yeah, how else could it affect your body? In what way?
Well, it can lead to aneurysm, heart failure, and heart attack. And then it can lead to eventual heart disease, because when the source of the blood pressure is your heart. So it's pumping out more blood pressure on those artery walls. So it really does have an effect on your body, and that's not meant to scare you. I just want to educate you about what's going on with that diagnosis. And then you were also diagnosed with hyperlipidemia. Tell me about what you understand about hyperlipidemia.
From what I've been told, in my blood I have high levels of triglycerides and cholesterol.
Okay, yes, that's pretty accurate. That means your overall lipid profile, lipid is another word for fat, your lab values are high. And that can also lead to heart disease and then maybe an eventual incidence of heart attack. Yeah, and so I'm getting a couple things from you. You seem kind of shocked.
Yeah, I wasn't really educated on these things. I kind of just got my diagnosis, and it's just really hitting home because, my father passed away of a heart attack when I was younger, and I just don't want to end up like that.
Yeah, I can understand that. So I'm getting that was your father's death a shock?
He wasn't an athlete, so it wasn't like it was out of nowhere. He was always overweight. He was always under a lot of stress. He didn't eat quote unquote healthy, I guess.
Mhm.
So it wasn't a shock, but definitely it was a surprise, especially so young.
Yeah, 50 is very young, and you yourself being
54.
54. Yeah, you're pretty young too. And the great thing about a diagnosis of hypertension and hyperlipidemia is that it's not too late to change some of our habits, to maybe change our diet, so that we don't end up with a heart attack or heart disease in the future. Yeah. Does that? How would you feel about making changes like that?
I definitely would want to make changes so I could stop the progression of my disease.
Okay. And last time we talked a lot about what you eat, and then we talked a lot about how what you eat has such a big role to play with your family connection and with your social life. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, like I was saying last time, when my family comes over, it's a big party. We eat the whole time. We're talking, we're drinking, we're having fun, and family is so important to me. And the biggest part of our relationship is that we are hanging out, we are eating, and our relationship is centered around food. And I don't want to have to make any dietary changes that's really going to affect my relationship with it. Like if I'm at the party and I'm sitting over there eating my salad and everyone's making fun of me and everyone's like, why aren't you eating the pasta, Tony? And then the women are getting mad because they're insulting them because I'm not eating their food. I just don't I don't know how it would go over.
So it sounds like you're afraid of compromising your family connection with food and everything for maybe healthier options. Is that kind of?
Yeah. I guess it'd be different if everyone was eating it, but how am I going to get everyone to eat this way? They're not want to give up their sausage. My wife makes the best sausage.
So it sounds like you're a little conflicted. Do you want to talk about that? Or?
Yeah. Well, what you said to me earlier today really struck home, and I think if diet really is going to prevent these problems from happening, that's something that I really need to consider. And on the other hand, family is so important, and it's hard because if I'm living without having really like my passion in my life, which is my family, I don't know, is it worth it? Would it be better to just eat these things and it's going to have later repercussions, or to have a healthy lifestyle and maybe just try to make it work and try to change everyone else?
Okay, so it sounds like kind of in your mind, things you need to think about are, do you value maybe more time with your family as far as stopping the progression of heart disease, or maybe do we value the time that you already have, but eating what you want and partaking of the partying and that type of thing. And that's not a question that we have to address right now, but maybe that's something that you want to think about, which is really more important to you.
Yeah.
Do you have sons and daughters?
Yes, I have sons and daughters.
Okay. And do you hope to have grandchildren one day?
Yeah. One of my daughters is getting married in a couple weeks, and
oh wow,
hopefully grandchildren eventually. Hopefully not too soon. I don't want to be a grandpa yet.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's a future for your family kind of playing out.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And do you feel that maybe your father was taken too early, and maybe he didn't get to see a lot of the progression of his family, a lot of his prodigies?
I definitely think that, and if my father is here and we are having this, if I were you and he was me, I would be like, why aren't you eating better? If I could have stopped this from happening, if he had like the warning that I'm having right now.
Well, I definitely believe that there's a balance. We don't want to take away your family from you, and food, it sounds like, is a big part of family. We're not trying to alienate you from your family. We're not going to distance ourselves. We're just going to educate ourselves about hypertension, because it sounds like most of what you've heard is from doctors. Would you say, like hearsay? And how does that make you feel that you don't really know
it makes me kind of feel inadequate that I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what's going on with my own condition and how I could have helped myself, and that I haven't had proper education.
Yeah, so we want to empower you so that helpless feeling goes away.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then you can educate your family so that maybe if you are eating different things from them, you can say, this is so Uncle Tony is healthier. This is so Uncle Tony's health improves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that we could work on. So would you mind like kind of going through your diet routine with me and maybe discussing things that you are willing to change?
Yeah, definitely.
And then we don't have to change everything. We can just pick maybe 3 or 4 very small things to work on and get started on our journey to.
I think I'd be willing to be listened to. I'm willing to.
Okay. And I'll be asking you a couple questions, and like at any point, just let me know if something sounds like too much, because we want to set realistic goals that we'll reach, instead of maybe lofty goals that we can't. Because when we reach our goals, we're empowered and we can make more goals. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So in your diet recall, breakfast looked pretty good. You drank orange juice and you had a banana and some toast. And how do you feel after you eat breakfast?
I feel okay.
Mhm.
I don't like to eat too much in the morning, but
yeah, and that's common. Sometimes our appetite isn't like all the way there when we wake up and like get to work in the mornings. But breakfast looks pretty good. It's pretty low sodium, low fat, and you have a fruit in there, and also some fruit juice, which is good. And on your toast, I forgot to ask, do you normally add butter?
I'll put some jam.
Some jam? Okay, yeah. So breakfast, I think we can kind of leave breakfast alone. And then we talked about lunch, and you said normally on typical days you eat out.
Yeah.
And then the concern with eating out is that there's a lot of additives in the food, and you're not really in control of what you're eating because like when you walk into a restaurant, what do you do?
You sit down, look at the menu, relax, have a good time, I'm served.
Yeah, exactly. You look at a menu, and it may have a brief description, and then they bring out your dish, and who knows what's in there, if there's a lot of salt or if there's a lot of fat. And one of the potential risk factors and causes of hypertension is high levels of salt in food. So as we're going through your diet today, we're going to be kind of identifying foods that are high salt that we can kind of look at and say, do we need those? And then foods that are high fat and look at and say, do we need those? Okay. So when we're talking about when you eat out, this is a potential place where there could be lots of salt and lots of fat.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you have a cheeseburger normally and you have a salad.
Mm-hmm.
The salad I'm not so much worried about because there's vegetables in there and you use oil and vinegar as a salad dressing. Is it olive oil?
Yeah.
So olive oil is a good fat. We'll talk about that probably at a later session about good fats versus bad fats. So I would say what we need to address is the cheeseburger. What can you tell me about what's in a cheeseburger?
It's meat. I think they.
What kind of meat?
Usually like ground beef.
Yeah.
I usually put like an egg in it. I think to like keep it together. Is there anything else? Maybe some herbs.
You mentioned that you have cheese.
Oh, I thought you meant how they made it, not how I make it.
Well, like what you would normally order.
Yeah.
You mentioned you have cheese, you have ketchup, and you have mustard. And in the patty itself, and all of those things, there can be high levels of salt and fat. And then even on the bun, if they toast it with butter, then that's a lot of salt and fat, and that contributes to hypertension and hyperlipidemia. So at the restaurants that you typically eat at, are there any healthier options besides the salad, maybe for entrees?
What would you consider something that would be good for me?
Maybe a chicken sandwich.
I definitely think they have a chicken sandwich.
Okay, maybe a chicken sandwich with less ketchup or no mayo or mustard.
Okay.
And I understand that those really kind of add to the taste of the sandwich, so maybe picking one condiment instead of 3.
Okay.
And that's just, tell me how does that change like make you feel? Does that feel like it tastes good or?
You know, it's not going to taste probably as good, but I think I might be able to survive.
Okay.
I'll have to taste it and let you know. I'll have to try it.
And
first.
the thing is, you can shop around on the menu of the fast food place. Or maybe if there's another fast food joint in the area, because I understand like when you leave work you have to find somewhere close by to eat so that you can get back to work in time. So maybe if there was like a croutons right next to the McDonald's that you would normally go to, maybe just one day out of the week trying the croutons.
Okay.
Yeah, so for lunch.
And what's the croutons place?
Oh, croutons. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a salad restaurant.
Oh, okay.
So they have lots of options for different greens that you can put in your salad, like lettuce or spinach. You mentioned that you enjoyed spinach or kale, and then you can choose different toppings and that kind of thing. Okay. And so again, you would just have to choose a healthy salad dressing. So like oil and vinegar would be a good example versus like maybe ranch or Caesar. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So for lunch, I don't want to give you a specific diet plan. I just want to challenge you on your lunch adventure to pick a slightly less fatty, less salt option. How do you?
Okay, so like let me give you another example. Maybe something that they have like a fish, something like a fish sandwich would be good. Mm-hmm. Okay. What about like a bean burrito?
Okay. It depends on what you put in the burrito. Beans are high protein and typically low fat. But if we're at a restaurant, we don't know how they cook it.
So maybe play it safe and not get something like that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And there are great resources on the internet. If you do find a restaurant that you like, most of the time you can go online and go to that restaurant's website and maybe look up that item and look at the levels of fat. So.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to concentrate on lunch, and then for dinner, I understand that. Would you say dinner is like the main family meal?
Yeah, definitely. That's when we're all together. Everyone's schedule works out. 7 o'clock. Everyone's at the table. Dinner's there.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like dinner. If we could rank our meals, dinner would be most important.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't really want to touch dinner. I feel like that's something that we can talk about on a later date.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
that makes the one condiment not so bad now.
Yeah, if you can sacrifice a condiment and maybe have chicken instead of beef at lunch, then we can look forward to dinner, and dinner's normal and dinner's with family. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds like something I think could work.
Okay, cool. So that's all I'd like you to work on for this session as it pertains to your food intake. Okay. But you did mention that you normally have a couple beers after dinner. Is it normally 1 or 2?
Yeah, 1 or 2, and then all on the weekends I go crazy. I have like 6 or 7.
Okay. Well, one of the causes and risk factors for hypertension is high consumption of alcohol. Oh. So just being cognizant of that. So maybe when you go for a beer after dinner, maybe have 1, and maybe on the weekends go from like crazy to like 1 or 2. Okay. So just kind of be thinking about that and think about that that's a contributor to hypertension. Okay. Yeah. And so we also talked about your physical activity, and you say you garden and then you golf on the weekends. Mm-hmm. Okay. How do you feel after you physically active?
I guess I feel good, yeah. When I break a sweat, yeah. Mm-hmm. When I mow the lawn, that's when I really feel good. That's really strenuous. Yeah, that's pretty hard.
Yeah, well, it feels good after because it's good for your body. A sedentary lifestyle and low physical activity also can contribute to hypertension. So if you look at your schedule and your activity level, do you see any opportunities, or what opportunities do you see to increase your activity level?
Well, right now I bowl twice a week, so that's 2 days. Because it gets kind of busy during the day.
And that's pretty active, like you're up and you're...
Yeah. Then I mow the lawn like once a week, so that's maybe on like Sunday. Saturday I golf, and then
That's good.
maybe I'll like garden on maybe on Sunday and Wednesday. So maybe on like Thursday and Friday I could maybe implement something else.
Okay. And again, you don't have to decide on anything right now, but just I'm glad that you're open to the idea of introducing more physical activity. And
yeah, I don't know if I have time, but
yeah.
I'll think about it.
Okay, yeah. I challenge you between this session and the next to think about activities that you would enjoy doing and how you could work them into your schedule.
Okay.
And you also
do you have any ideas of what some activities I could do?
If you like golfing, other activities normally do you golf at a country club?
Yeah.
If you spent time in the pool after you golf, just kind of swimming laps, it's a very kind of low stress on the joints aerobic exercise, which is great. If you enjoy walking or like being outside in the weather, then a walk around the block maybe a couple times a week. Okay. Walking for about half an hour, and those are kind of low stress ways to just get your body moving. Okay. Yeah, so just kind of be thinking about those. Yeah. And you also mentioned that your wife does most of the cooking, and that I asked you how much salt she adds to food, and you didn't really know. Yeah. Why is that? Do you not enjoy cooking? Or?
No. I get home and dinner's on the table. I'm just not there when it's being made. I don't really know. I just tell her it's good.
Okay. Could that be something that you're interested in? Is finding more out about the food that you're eating at home?
If you think it would help me, understand more about what food consumption, I guess I could be open to it.
Well, like we talked about with fast food restaurants, the danger with fast food restaurants and eating out is that we don't know what's in the dish. But when we're at home, we can know, and we're in control. So if you kind of observed your wife a little bit and saw how she makes food and sees the amounts of salt that she adds, or maybe the different types of foods that she puts into a dish, then that would empower you, and you would know more about what you're eating in relation to hypertension and hyperlipidemia.
I don't think I'd have time during the week because I get home from work, then I gotta walk the dog, I have things I have to do. Yes. But I think maybe on like Saturday or Sunday, I could be in the kitchen. I could make. Yeah, I think that would be an opportunity.
Okay. Yeah, so I feel like we kind of talked about a lot, and we did kind of loosely talk about some things that we want to accomplish. So let's just get those down in writing so that we're reaffirming them and we're thinking about them throughout all of our time until the next session. So the first one we talked about was lunch. What do you pledge to do? What can you do
for lunch? I'm going to have a less fat and sodium option, so maybe like a chicken, and I'm going to be cognizant of what's on the menu so I can try to make some better choices.
Awesome. And then we also talked about our alcohol intake. So what do you think is realistic for you, a goal to set about your alcohol intake?
I think we can limit 1 beer a week for now, and then on the weekends maybe 4 in total.
In total? That sounds great.
Between Sunday and Saturday.
That sounds great. And then we also talked about physical activity. Again, what do you feel is a realistic goal that you can really hit out of the park?
I think I'm not going to say that I'm going to exercise every day because I don't know if that's going to happen.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate your honesty.
But maybe if I, like you said earlier, I can start thinking of ideas, and
so then we'll just say
maybe I'll try a new one in between now and try to come up with something that I like.
Okay.
I'll try the swimming at the club or something.
Yeah, just like after you golf, since you're already there, why not just jump in the pool? Okay. Yeah. And then we also talked about empowering ourselves by knowing what we're eating, and especially at home. So
I'm gonna on the weekends I'm gonna be with my wife in the kitchen, and I'm gonna try to see how the food is prepared and try to get an idea of how she's making everything and what's going into it.
Yeah, that sounds great. And these may seem like small changes, but they're actually really big, and this is a really big step. So I just want to thank you for being candid and for committing to this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing my attention to so many things today.
Yeah.
It's a lot of information, but I think that hopefully I'm moving in the right direction.
Well, I'm here to help, and I'm going to give you these resources. This is something about hypertension and hyperlipidemia, and this is so that you can educate yourself, so that you'll know more. Because I don't want you to feel like you only know from what I've told you or from what your doctors told me. I want you to know because you found out.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
That sounds awesome. Thank you.
And then I'm also going to give you this copy of the goals that we made today. Maybe you can hang it up on your fridge, talk to your wife about it. It's good to have a support system helping you out. Yeah. Okay. And if at any time you're confused, feel free to call my office, and I can kind of counsel you over the phone, and we can work stuff out until your next session.
Okay.
Do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about?
I think that's it. Yeah, I think we went over a lot today, and I'm feeling pretty good.
All right, good. Thanks, Julie.